Okay, we had our house at Copthorne for sale, and had it for sale for a while, and then I think we then asked Martin Cundy to put a for sale notice up outside. And the reason we were selling that house, we loved it. It was a Georgian house, and we just loved it. But it was in a very, very dangerous position. And we always said that if we had small children, we wouldn't live on that road. And it got busier and busier and busier. And then our dog used to have a double gate system, so that nobody was allowed to go out of the gate without closing one gate behind them, and then they could go out of the gate, second gate. And my Uncle Bill let a car out, opened both gates, and our old English sheepdog ran straight out into the road and had an accident with a Triumph Herald. Dog didn't come to any harm, but the Triumph Herald got a bit dented. and we, I think, had just had you, and we said, that's it, we're not going to stay here, it's ridiculous, it's much too dangerous. So we put it on the market, we didn't sell it, and then we asked Martin Cundy to put it on the market. And while Dad was out one day, Sunday, playing cricket, a couple came along and said that they'd seen the notice outside, could they have a look at it? So I said, sure. So they had a look at it, they came inside, and they took pictures of absolutely everything in the house. And to the extent that I was feeling a little bit uncomfortable, and then he said to me, do you collect silver? And I said, no, we don't collect it, it's inherited. And he said, well, you seem to have quite a lot of it. And I then began to get very jumpy, and anyway, the next day they got in touch with the estate agent and said they'd like to buy it. Didn't they?
They did. You didn't say about the flood in
No,
the
I didn't
study.
say about
Oh, you
flood.
didn't?
That day, the lavatory upstairs had overflowed, come through the study, and the wallpaper in the study was hanging off in festoons.
Really?
Yes. But they liked it all the same, and they bought it. And they said they didn't know what their friends were all going to say, because, you know, they loved it and they wanted it, but their friends would be horrified at the fact that they were coming out to live in the sticks. This was on the A264, the busy road that we weren't prepared to have little children walking about round. So, oh, and the other thing was, of course, the girls had horses, and the stables in the courtyard were, I mean, it was horrendous, wasn't it? The horses, to get across the road with ponies, with a pony, was awful. So, and it was a thoroughbred cross, and it was a small, skitty little thing, so we needed, for that reason too, to get into somewhere where we had land because it had to get across the road to get grazing, didn't it? So we looked and looked and looked and looked and looked, and we couldn't find anything at all. And eventually, a friend of ours, Doreen Oliver, said, have you seen the house on Lingfield Common? And we said no. She said, oh, it's dreadful. She said, we were sent, they were looking at the same time, it was sent to us, she said, by Cundy. She said, it's dreadful. You've never seen anything like it. It's overrun, it's run down, the colours in it are awful. You should just go and have a look just to see what it's like. So we went to Cundy and we said, what about this house called Billhurst in Common Road? And he said, yes, he gave us she gave us, that's right, she gave us the details of it, and he made arrangements for us to come and see it. We came and saw it. The study was painted in a gloss paint, which my mother said was Hawes 49, was it she called it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It was a horrible yellow ochre. And the gloss paint everywhere in that room was yellow ochre. And then and the walls were very, very dark panelled. And then the dining room had a dining room table and 6 chairs round it. And the dining room table and chairs and all of the skirtings and all of the door, the windowsills, everything was painted in bright emerald green. And then when we walked down to the passage here to the kitchen, which was a very, very dark passage, and that was dark maroon. And the bathroom was in very sumptuous looking bathroom, deep purple bath, gold taps, downstairs, big chandelier in it, beautiful purple tiled floor, and
it sounds amazing.
And the water and the bath was so big that the water system couldn't fill the bath. If you had a bath in it, you just about covered your bare essentials, and that was all.
Who were the people who were here?
The people who were here, he was an artist, she was an American. And
There you go.
She came from the Virgin Isles, and she fancied being Lady of the Manor. They both of them really rather liked the idea that it was Lord and Lady of the Manor.
Right.
It was all rather peculiar they were. Anyway, we came into this room, and there was a most dreadful fireplace, wasn't there, Charles?
Yeah, I forgot that. Yeah, I forgot that. Yeah.
And there was a television.
What was wrong with the fire? What was the fireplace?
It was a tiled fireplace. It was
Okay.
a 1920 to 30s tiled fireplace. It was ugly.
Half that height.
Yes. And then opposite
Half that height and
opposite
just
the
tiles.
fireplace, over this side, was a television, and there was a settee and 2 chairs that were facing the fireplace, the television, and the curtains were the most dreadful things. They were an orangey colour, weren't they?
Forgot.
And they hadn't got any lining in them. And the windows were metal, they were crystal windows, and
Remember
so
them, yeah.
none of them fitted properly.
Yeah.
Anyway, that
Remember
was,
that.
that was all that was in the room. There was nothing else. Well, you remember them because you used to be able to break in through the windows very easily.
Yeah.
But nothing else in the room, just the television and the 2 chairs and these awful curtains. I think there were a couple of rugs on the floor, but night, because it was a lovely parquet floor. But the room was dark. Anyway, upstairs we went, and the bathroom had a great big roll-top bath in it, and a high cistern. And she apparently, the owner, who they'd gone abroad by this time, they'd gone back to the Virgin Isles, and she had painted it in a pale pink, purple and deep purple, and she had done fingerprints all around the room and all around the cistern, and she picked the cistern name out in a dark purple, and it was peculiar, wasn't it, the whole thing. And then the room that I work in, that was the only room that was decent, really. That was painted in a white, and had some pink in it, but it was fairly white. Then our bedroom was in several different shades of pink, from coral to baby pink. And the twin room was in a bright blue, all of this gloss paint, and then the double room, which was your room, was painted in about 5 different shades of blue and green, wasn't it?
With footprints all over.
Yeah, footprints.
Or handprints.
There was a big footprints. There was a big rainbow shape, and then it went into a road all around the room. It was big, in different shades of blue on a green background, pea green background. Anyway, we went. Oh, the whole landing on stairs were in black stars on a white background and white stars on a black background paper, and an awful sheet red carpet stuck on the stairs. It was awful. Everything was dreadful.
What? So at what point did you decide
The Oliver
this is
said-
the house for us?
Yes, that's right. The Oliver said that had described. She had tried to describe it to me, but she couldn't describe it. It was so awful. Anyway, we said we'd like to look round the garden, and the father of the man who owned it said, "You want to walk? Nobody ever wants to walk round the garden. What do you want to walk round the garden for?" And we said, "Well, we want to know what the perimeter is, where the boundaries are." And he said, "Well," he said, "I don't know. I've never done it." They'd lived here for about 5 years, and it was a wreck. The whole you had to beat your way round to there, round to the stable block and the stables and the coach house, because it was just a wreck. Anyway, we came away, and Dad said,
but it had the 3 acre pasture,
3 acre paddock,
stables, and the 3 acre paddock.
And that's what you were looking for.
And it was then.
Well, it helped because we had 2 ponies,
3
3
dogs,
peacocks,
3 dogs,
3 dogs,
chickens, ducks,
we had
cats. Oh, no, we didn't have cats then, did we?
Yeah, we had a fair
Cats then.
menagerie. So we had one of the most important things was that there was room to house all
of
the
these things.
all of the things. Plus, of course, 2 daughters. You were too young to express a
And
voice
you
an
were
opinion.
2 year old.
But 2 daughters who were at that stage mad on riding, so
Right.
mad on horses. So it was that was a pretty important part of it.
So,
And I fell in love with this room.
and I said, "We'll never get it straight, this place." I could see it, all of the possibilities of it. I could see that it could make a fantastic house, but with 3 children, 2 horses, 3 dogs, 2 peacocks, peahens, ducks, chickens, and then Dad got cats. Anyway, with all of those animals, I thought I just couldn't, and a baby of 1 year old, and lots of stairs, and I thought, I don't think I can cope with it. Anyway, we left, and Dad said, "Well, I think we'll have that house." I said, "You don't?" He said, "Yes, if the curtains of our house at Copthorne, Billhurst house, if the curtains at our house fit that room, we'll have it." And the curtains at Hurst house, we measured up, and they did fit it. So he said, "Right, we'll have it." And I said, but, we've got so much to do, and it's awful. And he was really, really busy at that time. So, anyway,
But we
couldn't find anything else.
Yes, exactly. We had looked at lots of houses without even finding anything even possible. So it was, and we were running out of time.
We were.
And how much was it?
As we are now.
How much was it?
£18,000.
No.
What was it?
It was 30.
Oh no, it's the other house. It was 18.
35,000, I think.
36,000.
36,000 was it? Yeah.
36 years ago.
What?
36 years ago.
Yeah.
But that was 1975, just before the terrible 70s, with when inflation was running at 25%, and for several years, for 3 years, I think it was, and when everything went absolutely berserk, and so.
That seemed like a terrible. That seemed you for a while. It seemed like a bad investment, did it?
Very bad investment.
Oh no. How much was it? Much more than the house that you had sold in Copthorne, or was it about the same?
No, it was about the same. It was about the same.
And we bought that one for 18, didn't we?
Hmm?
We bought that one for 18,
yeah.
and 5 years later.
God, 5 years. That from 70 to 75, that doubled.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Why was that? Why the early 70s? Why did the property prices go up so much?
That's a very good question.
I think it was because they changed the ruling on mortgages, didn't they? So 2 people could have a mortgage.
Today I can't remember. I can't remember, but it was a time when everything did go did
So
get
you could use both persons' salary as for a mortgage. I think that's
probably
what it was.
Yeah, probably was.
Whereas before that, you could only use the man's salary for the mortgage. And they say they changed a lot of the ruling as far as mortgage is concerned. Anyway, so